welcome in. All right, so today we are going through the kitchen scrub. I love talking about kitchen everything, kitchen recipes, kitchen ease, kitchen health, kitchen flow, kitchen organization. That is what we're going to talk about today. Sit down, grab a coffee, and let's talk about how we have flow and organization happening in the health of our home. If you are, if you've already purchased the scrub workbook and you want to follow along with me, you can turn to page 30. That's where you'll see the chapter for the kitchen scrub. That's what I'm going to go through with you today. So I'm going to start off reading the intro. I'm going to talk about the various worksheets that I give you, which you can see here that I've printed. So one of the things you'll see in your scrub workbook once you purchase it is links you click through to print the individual worksheets, or I've given you a button there that you can print the entire PDF and store in a binder like I have here. So we'll go through that, and then I'm going to head to my kitchen and I want to show you 7 or 8 different areas in my kitchen that I have optimized by doing something, whether it's using a certain tool or just having a routine in place that helps things really flow. Okay, I feel like the kitchen is really where it's at when it comes to that feeling in your home of rhythm and organization and health, right? That's where we really want to focus on having a system in place. And so this might be your area where you're going to really dive in. Okay, so I want to read the intro live with you guys. Cozy up with me. Let me know what you think as I go through the content, and then yeah, we'll get into the work. I believe our kitchens hold the keys to health and happiness in our home. When your kitchen is set up in a way that makes sense for how you use it, and when everything has a place and everything is in its place, it will be a space you love spending time in. Sit in your kitchen with a cup of something delicious and a few copies of the schematic in your workbook. Our kitchens tell a story, so let your kitchen speak to you. Think about your typical day in your kitchen and how you move in this space. Take note of your prime real estate, shelves, spaces, drawers. These should only have items that you use every week. You guys will remember 2 streams ago, if you were with me, I talked about prime real estate in your home. So if you think about where you spend most of your time, those areas that you're always in, the things that are within reach, that you can reach for, the cupboards you can touch, the things that are at eye level, that is prime real estate in your home. And so you want to really honor those spaces. So in your kitchen specifically, you want things within easy reach, okay? So take note of areas when you're sitting in your kitchen that are a mess. Something isn't working in that space. Do you have open chip bags everywhere? Think of a better solution for those. Do you have 36 boxes of tea bags? What if you color coordinate them in single bags into a basket? It's time to lean it out and make it work for you. The kitchen scrub will likely take you a whole day, so plan for it when you have the time to really move through each area. As you move from drawer to cupboard, you'll be motivated to finish the job. Have your hampers ready. You might be surprised at all that comes out of the corners of your cupboards. So I'm going to go into some tips for the kitchen, but what I first want to acknowledge is that the kitchen can feel like a pretty big to-do, a big task, right? Because it's, for many of us, it's a place that we are all the time, and so it collects a lot of things. There's just, it can feel very chaotic and stuffed. So one of the best ways to get into the mood, this is on page 34, I suggest you start with that junk drawer. How many of you have a junk drawer that just continues to collect things and you don't know how everything gets in there, but it's like the mess of the kitchen? Maybe it's the messiest drawer in your home. That is the best way to get in the mood to start organizing your kitchen, because you'll do a warm up of sorts. And when that junk drawer feels organized, you're going to feel like taking on more. And even if you take this over the course of a couple days, what you might want to do is just tackle the messiest areas of your kitchen. Maybe it's the Tupperware cupboard, or maybe it's the cutlery drawer. tackle those areas first so that you get this motivation every time you open it to take on more in your kitchen. So I show you my before and after on page 34 of our junk drawer. It was a simple thing, but it got me in the mood to get me moving on the other things. Now, if you scroll to the back of the kitchen chapter where I have the scrub worksheet, you'll notice that same flow is there that we've covered off in the other scrubs together. We always prep, then we gut, we sort, and we place. So that is the sequence you follow for every scrub you're doing. So in the prep section, for example, I link up for you the different worksheets I give you to print off, such as your kitchen schematic, your pantry schematic. I give you a link to Plan to Eat, which I'll mention a little bit later in this stream. It's a free trial. I give you a link up for a 30-day trial. It's my favorite digital meal planner. So, and then grabbing 4 large garbage bags or hampers to sort everything as you pull it out. I personally like using hampers for the kitchen scrub, just so that you can continue to see everything as you pull it out. Because keep in mind, as you focus, like let's say you think of your Tupperware cupboard or cabinet or whatever you store those kinds of things in, it might hold a lot of things in there, and you want to be able to, as you're pulling them out, see them still before you make your decision, right? So if you had 4 large hampers, one for trash, one for donations, one for sell, and one for keep, hampers work well in that space. So as you're clearing out, I encourage you to move one drawer and cupboard at a time, pulling everything out to sort them into your 4 hampers or garbage bags. Cleaning as you go, right? So you're cleaning out, you're vacuuming that space, checking expiry dates. So even if you do this scrub once or twice a year, this will help you make sure that you have everything towards the front of your pantry that is expiring soonest. That's a good routine to get into whenever you buy new things, obviously putting them at the back and moving other things forward. And then maybe this is your chance to consider a different way of displaying things. So if you have a lot of dry pantry goods, I personally love using big mason jars, glass mason jars. I love the look of that. And I keep all of my bulk items in that. I label it with an old school label gun, and then I put the expiry date on the bottom of the jar. So that's on the worksheet there. And then obviously when you're going to place everything back, you don't do that until you've drawn out your schematic, which I'll get into in just a moment. So let me go back up and share some kitchen tips with you. So first thing I want to show you, in your workbook, you'll see I've given you your own custom blueprint design, okay? Now, you have one for the kitchen and one for the pantry, because some of you may have a walk-in pantry that actually has different heights of shelves, floor to ceiling. So the kitchen schematic is pretty easy. What you're doing here, and you might want to print multiples of this, is you're drawing out the different zones of your kitchen. So, and every kitchen's different, right? Some of you may have a series of cupboards near the oven, and then maybe it's an L-shaped design and it comes over to the sink area with some more cupboards and drawers, and then you might have more to the right-hand side. So because every kitchen's different, print as many of these schematics as you need. And what you do is you basically sketch out the shape of the zone, and you note how many shelves you have, and you're thinking about what is the better way to store things. Again, you're always thinking of prime real estate in your kitchen. So where are those spaces that you're always reaching? That's where you want to have those things that you're using all the time. When you go through the process of gutting and sorting and placing in the kitchen, you'll probably come across a better way of doing something, and it'll change your whole world. For example, your cutlery drawer. Maybe right now you have that drawer over the garbage can, and every time you go to reach for something there, the garbage can might be open, or it's just a hassle, and just by moving it over slightly, it makes a big difference. Or maybe where your dishwasher is, maybe the shelves above your dishwasher, for example, are right now being used to store things you're not using all the time. Whereas if you used those shelves to store everyday drinking glasses and everyday bowls and plates, that's a quick position from the dishwasher, and that makes more sense. So this is your chance to pull everything out and think, what is the better way of storing things? So you draw out your schematic first, okay? The other worksheet, like I mentioned, is your pantry worksheet, okay? The only difference between this and the kitchen one is you have a space for measurements here, total measurements. You could also indicate the height of the shelves because, and this is helpful because if you, let's say, decide you're going to start storing everything in glass mason jars that are a foot high, you want to make sure that they're going to have the right amount of space in your pantry. You'll also notice on the schematics, there's a space just to itemize things that you want to organize or order for that space, okay? So what haven't I mentioned here from the tips? Let me see. Work on having as much glass as possible when it comes to food storage. So this is just a tip I linked in here with the nesting glass containers that I like to work with. This is one of those things you want to do for your health, okay? So while there are a lot of BPA-free plastic options now, glass is always going to be the best option, and it's great if you can find things that nest. So as you're pulling everything out, you're looking at, well, is this taking up way more room than it should, right? If you have a lot of different plastic Tupperware that doesn't nest inside of each other, then that's taking up a lot of your space. If you can have enough food on hand for at least 1 month, that would be a good goal. Many of you, if you can afford it and you have the room for it, you want to be thinking of 3 months at a time. That's just good practice. As you're thinking about your pantry, really think about what are those things that you actually do consume as a family. When you pull out everything from your pantry, you might be surprised at how quickly things have expired, right? You'll be shocked, actually, I think, to note how quickly condiments and even things in your fridge, dressings, marinades, things like that, they actually go bad pretty quickly. So what you do want to think of bulking up on are things that your family could put together in a meal if something was to occur that stopped you from being able to go to the store, right? Or if we were to ever head into a situation where you had to make do with what you have, you want to make sure your pantry is serving you as a family to support your needs for at least a month, okay? So that's a good goal. I give you links to different organizers like small wire baskets and where to think of placing those, cabinet risers. I'll show you an example of one we have in our supplement cabinet. Small baskets for the pantry. So if I remember to show you this, I will when we get to the kitchen, but in the pantry is where I store onions, garlic, potatoes, all in separate little pantry bins. So that's really easy to see when it comes to placing our next grocery order. Little tips are in here. Let me see. I mentioned in here keeping a diffuser and water pitcher. I'll show you how we have our little health station there in the kitchen. Ordering groceries online. So I just ordered our groceries this morning. And we go and pull into a parking spot tomorrow and they load them in the car and we're good to go. And of course you can use services like Instacart, which will deliver the groceries for you. Some people, like a good friend of mine, she loves grocery shopping. So even though it takes her a couple hours each week, that's something she loves to do. So she plans for that. I don't love to do that. So I would much rather hang out together here. And so instead of I'm not at the grocery store today, I get to hang out with you, but our groceries are all ordered for pickup tomorrow. So just little pointers to be considering is in the tips section. I talk about cleaning products. So I'm actually when we go downstairs, I'm gonna make our really simple all-purpose cleaner and show you how easy it is. I give you the recipe in the scrub workbook. I also on page 35 talk about how to turn your stash into cash. So when you have your hampers and you've got your trash hamper, your donate hamper, your sell hamper, and your keep hamper, think about things you have not used in at least 6 months in your kitchen and think about selling them. Using platforms like eBay, Kijiji, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. These are all really great platforms to, maybe you bought that juicer a few years ago and you never ended up using it. First, I would love to have you join us for Ready, Set, Glow. We'll put your juicer to work, but maybe you just don't feel like it is going to ever work its way into your rhythm. You know, it's kind of like holding on to that little black dress that's 4 sizes too small, right? It's like, just be real about life and you can turn that cash into something else, okay? So anyway, I go through the steps of, I actually isolate how to sell an item on Facebook Marketplace, because that's the bigger of the platforms right now. On page 36, I talk about Plan to Eat in more detail. So Plan to Eat, you guys, I'm sure you've checked it out if you've been with me for a while, because I've been using this digital tool for 12 years. It was the first digital tool I think I purchased when Chloe was first born. It prompted me into looking at how I could create a higher environment of health in our home. And so I love it because I've actually stored all of my recipes in it over the last decade. And I drag them into a calendar each week as I'm doing my meal planning. It creates a grocery shopping list for me based on the ingredients, to which I take and place my order online, and then we go pick up our groceries. So it's just a really seamless system. And I give you a link for a 30-day trial and 10% off in the Scrub workbook. But I'll also give you the link after I'm done on Instagram. I'll give you all the links I mentioned in the description. I've already posted them to the Whole Fit Facebook stream. And then I also link up the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15, the EWG's list of items to focus on keeping organic if you can afford it. These would be the 12 dirtiest produce items when it comes to pesticides, okay? So I thought that was a helpful tool. I give you the formula or the recipe for doing a produce soak in the morning. So that's one of the tips I'll share with you when you go downstairs. I'll show you a really easy produce wash. And then there's a few other worksheets I'll just show you real quick before we wrap up the video up here and I take you on a quick kitchen tour. Anyone who's joining over on Facebook, I'm going to be cutting off the feed here in a few minutes, so you can hop over to Instagram if you want to join the kitchen tour. So I've mentioned the schematic already, but let me just show you a few of the other simple worksheets I give you in the kitchen section. So the first is an area for you to track recipes you want to try this season based on protein. Okay, so again, if you're getting into a rhythm throughout your year of doing this scrub every season, which is the intention, this is an opportunity for you to just hit that refresh button when it comes to your kitchen. So, and again, seasonally, if you live somewhere that has different seasonal climates throughout the year, then you're probably craving different foods at different time of year. So anyway, this gives you an opportunity to just jot down, what are some chicken recipes, red meat recipes, seafood recipes, and meatless recipes you want to whip up in this season. Or maybe what you do is you jot down a note here of recipes you want to find, right? So things you've been craving or yummy dishes you've tried at restaurants. You'll also find a worksheet called the Weekly Recipe Plan. The way you want to think of using this is it has every day of the week and just writing out a theme for each day. This is something you could just keep in your cupboard in your kitchen. So maybe you're thinking of meatless Mondays or taco Tuesdays or pizza Fridays or whatever. Think of a theme if you think about your typical week and rhythms as a family. Think about just making it simple and plan out the days. There goes the dog. Plan out the days that you as a family feel you're more stressed for time, because maybe that's the 1 or 2 days, whatever, that you order in or get takeout. Let me see. Is that it for that one? Yes. Okay. Pantry, kitchen, went through that. Okay, cool. And then the last page of the kitchen scrub, I give you a resource section. So I've linked up for you my Healthy Kitchen Blueprint. Do any of you have that on here? I released that last year. And this is a great tool if you want to hyper focus on your kitchen and helping, set that area up for healthy success. I link up for you all of my recipes. We talk about Plan to Eat. We talk about a very simple system of kitchen prep and planning if you feel like this is an area that's gone a little bit off the rails, okay? So I give you a promo code in the resource section for 15% off. I also link up for you my supernatural recipe guide, which is my DIY recipe guide using essential oils. So that might be something you're interested in if you're brand new to the essential oil lifestyle. This is also a free ebook we give you as part of our Whole Fit Oil team, just so you know. The diffuser guide I have out there I've linked up for you, Plan to Eat, and then just some online grocery platforms and food delivery platforms are in the resource section. So thanks for joining. I'm going to close out here and continue the kitchen tour. There we go. How are you? Am I still here? Okay, hopefully our signal remains. Can you guys hear me okay? Good. All right. So what was so funny is I was out this morning and I came home and the girls had a friend over and the kitchen had exploded. They were making cake pops. So we've pretty well cleaned it up, but if you're in the mood for a cake pop, come on over. Anybody here not want to be on camera? Because you're gonna be. Hello. Okay, welcome to the kitchen. If you've purchased my Healthy Kitchen Blueprint, you've been in my kitchen with me before. In that blueprint, I do a more in-depth video from what I'm going to show you right now. But I want to show you 7 different areas that I have in the kitchen where I have a nice little system going that just makes it simple and helps health move in and out of our kitchen. I also want to direct you guys to a blog post that I posted last year, I believe. And in that blog post, I share with you the evening and morning routines that we have. What do we call it at night when we're...
Good night, kitchen.
Good night, kitchen.
Good night, kitchen.
We say good night to our kitchen. We've got a little routine that we follow, and it makes a big difference in the morning. You're going to have to talk if you're going to come on.
We don't say good night, kitchen.
No.
We do say good night. Well, maybe not technically, but it's a process. We're at the age where mom is not cool.
No, you're cool.
Okay, Chris. All right, so I'm going to show you 7 different areas. Oh, what I was going to share with you was the link to that blog post. So if you go to wholefit.com/blog/kitchen routines, you'll see our good morning and our good night routine, which maybe we don't say it, but we do it. Okay. So the first area I want to show you, and I'll probably just flip. Can I flip on here? Yes. I'm going to just flip the camera around to show you as we go along. Or maybe I'll just do that. Okay, so the first area is the produce soak. So I've mentioned this. When you first come into your kitchen in the morning, a really good routine to get into is grabbing a big bowl and doing a produce soak. So you're thinking about any of the fruits and vegetables that you want to have for the day. If you soak them and have them ready to go, then it's more likely that they're going to be eaten. So these are going to be healthy things that you want to have. And I have some things right here, some apples and peaches that I soaked this morning. So, when the kids are a little bit snacky hungry, they're nice and clean. So here's a very simple produce wash that you can make. So like I said, you start off with a big bowl and you're going to do a couple of pumps. I'll say hello.
Hey.
Okay, Grunty. Can you take him outside?
Okay.
I'm going to do a couple of pumps of On Guard foaming hand soap. So this is doTERRA's foaming soap. You guys, I'm sure a lot of you use it if you have doTERRA. And a couple pumps of this with a couple drops of a citrus oil. So what I'll do is I keep a bottle of citrus oil, and then I keep an oil like spearmint near the sink to do easy cleanups at the end of the day. I'll put a couple of pumps of the On Guard soap in the sink with a couple of drops of spearmint, and I'll scrub the sink, and then it actually works like a diffuser in the kitchen. This pump they sold as part of a Christmas bundle, I believe, or maybe it was Mother's Day. Stay tuned in the fall. So in your produce bath, you would do a couple of pumps of your On Guard foaming soap, a couple of drops of a citrus oil. You'd fill it with water, and then you dunk in all of the items, all of the fruit, all of the veg. You'd let it soak for like 5 minutes. Then you'd rinse it, and then you'll see here, I have a drying rack. And all of this is in the kitchen shop, wholefit.com/kitch shop. You'll find everything I'm showing you right now. So I like this drying rack. You can buy different sizes to go right over your sink. And it can be a little bit too wide for things like blueberries. So I also have these that I use, which they're just nice strainers that hook on the edge of the sink there. Another thing I wanted to show you is our composter, which is actually full right now. So we keep this right into, we have, as you can see here, a large sink in our island. It's a second sink that we built into the kitchen. There's our first one there. Just thought it might come in handy because the island is really long. So I'm like, oh, let's put a sink in there. But anyway, it does work because I like having the extra space for things like this. So the composter, we keep this little kitchen composter here to catch all the scraps. And then we take this and empty it into our rotating composter, which is outside in the backyard. Do any of you guys compost? I just started doing it, I want to say about 2 years ago. It's something I always wanted to do, I just never got to. And it saves a ton of space in the trash and recycling. And not only that, but the best thing about it is it turns all of your food waste, your food scraps and different other materials into great nutrients for your garden, right? So what it actually does is it breaks down food scraps and different dry goods to sprinkle and mix into your soil. So there, I'll just tell you quickly how it works. You want to be thinking of a ratio of wet and dry, or you'll see online it'll say brown and green. So and you can see here, I don't even know if I want to look here, but paper towels, coffee grounds, apple cores, peach cores. So what you can throw into your compost, the most common things you would throw in there from your kitchen, the green things or the wet things would be coffee grounds, tea bags, produce scraps obviously will make up most of what you're adding in there, eggshells, and then the dry goods would be, or the brown would be things like hair. So actually hair from the hairbrushes, if you have girls in your home that, do a good scrub of those once a month and empty that into your compost. Lint from your dryer. So I keep a little container up in my laundry room just for lint, and then we add that to the compost. What else? Leaves, grass, like things that, and if you live in a large, like if you live on a farm or you have a lot of land, you know this, right? You've got a lot of scraps. You've probably been composting for a long time. But toilet paper holders, and paper towel holders, I keep those. So, and anytime we use a paper towel for something in the kitchen, we'll add it to the compost so it can be reused for something. So that's composting. And then I have a rotating one, like I mentioned, outside, which we empty it out into. The next thing I wanted to talk about was kitchen oils. So I've mentioned this already as we talked about the produce soak. So what I like to do is keep a little rack of oils. I have about 10 or 12 bottles here that we use all the time in the kitchen. These would be things like citrus oils, mint oils. I have a few herb oils here, but I'll show you, I actually keep a whole rack of herb oils for cooking in a different location. But this one primarily is for adding citrus oil to our drinking water and for diffusing. So what I wanted to show you here in the kitchen is I have one of doTERRA's Volo diffusers, and then I keep a water pitcher with the diffuser. So it's a little diffusing station, and I have them rainbow coated, obviously. But if you guys go to my diffuser guide, which I'll put into the links of this video, or you could just Google a whole fit diffuser, it'll come up for you. I give you all of my favorite diffusing blends. So you'll see a few good ones in there, like the Williams Sonoma blend, the Anthropology blend, the Home Sanctuary blend. I use that one all the time. Yeah, what else do I want to mention there? Let me just go over and show you I have this, so I purchased this rack from a farmer's market years ago. I don't know what it was meant for, decorative. It's not meant to hold anything really, but it was perfect for storing my kitchen oils. So Here is where I keep a lot of those oils that you wouldn't use for too many other health applications, although they can be extremely beneficial. Obviously something like oregano, you guys know, is like the OG antiviral, and yet it's great in the kitchen. Adding 1 drop to a big crock pot of spaghetti sauce, for example, is all you need. Other oils that I love, love, love cooking with: celery seed, I love adding to salad dressings, basil, marjoram, we've got thyme, rosemary, cilantro. I mean, the cool thing with the herb oils, you guys, is let's say you purchase a bottle of doTERRA cilantro. It's gonna last you at least 5 years. And if you buy a big bunch of cilantro, you guys, you know, you use a little bit in a recipe and then it goes bad, right? So having the oil actually saves you a ton in the long run. And the other cool thing is, let me come back to cilantro for a second. It is very helpful when you're working with heavy metals in the body. So if that's something you're looking to clear, adding cilantro to the bottoms of your feet, if you have an infrared sauna in your house, or you could go do a really good workout, or even go into the bath, work with cilantro. Let's say you've just had a metal filling pulled, for example. And even though your dentist would be using extreme protocols to make that a safe procedure, there's going to be small amounts of those heavy metals released into your body. So you'd want to come and work with cilantro. The way you learn that too is, you know, we've got a lot of resources. You just learn what oils are good for what based on the constituents you had. Obviously, this is not an essential oil class, so I won't go into much depth there. I know that might be boring to some of you, so I'm going to cut this to just the kitchen. But my point is, if you have oils for kitchen purposes, you're going to save a lot of time and money in the long run, not having to go out and purchase the herbs. Now I do have, if you want to watch a class on using oils in the kitchen, I have a free class for you. You don't have to drop your email or anything. Just go to wholefit.com/blog/kitchen oils. Now I mentioned herbs. We were talking about the herb oils. I do want to show you some cool things you can purchase for your home, especially if you have a small, maybe you live in an apartment or condo and you can't have a garden of your own. You can actually turn furniture into being something useful. So this is by a company called Just Vertical. They're actually based out of London, Ontario, where I live, but they ship all over. I've had this now for I think 2 years. And what I love about it is it's pretty fun looking, right? So this down here is where the nutrients and where the water feeds from. So some of you might be familiar with the tower garden. I just didn't like the look of it. And so this was much more my vibe. And this unit here, they're actually on sale right now. This unit here is under $1,000, and there's a smaller one that I think is $600 or $700. And it's pretty cool. So you can see here, let me try to, I'm growing cilantro, arugula, basil, as you can see, is coming out nicely. I've got some parsley growing there, and then I've got some different lettuces that I'm sprouting right now, getting ready to go into the grower. So anyway, there's different options out there. Like I said, the tower garden is another popular one. I just really liked the look of this one. Let me show you one other thing. It's not the cleanest back here right now. This is where we have like our health station, where we keep our blender, different things in mason jars, like I was mentioning, different bulk goods, different things for making smoothies each day. I have my little crock pot here of chaga tea, which I almost always have available. But what I wanted to show you here was we have something called the urban cultivator. So you can see here we're growing microgreens. We've obviously got a bit of a situation going on down here we've got to solve, but this is another company you might want to look into, the urban cultivator. I just really like having life force in our home. Okay, I think that was all I want to show you back here. So let me just go to my notes. I had mentioned risers in cupboards. I just want to show you our supplement cupboard. So here's an example of a good use of a riser, because the space here, if we just had the supplements, it would not be well used, right? So by having a riser, you can turn it into 2 different levels. And I like to keep at least 3 months of supplements on hand. Supplements are king in my life, in my experience, in my body. I absolutely feel a difference when I go without them. So I never like to get to the bottom of a supplement bottle and then realize I don't have another one. So you can see the majority of the supplements that I take are by doTERRA. So we've got obviously our big hitters here for sleep, for immunity, digestion, hormones. DDR Prime is a very important supplement for anyone living in the world right now. And probiotic, turmeric, if you're dealing with you want healthy inflammation in your body. Terrazyme I have like 5 bottles of, because that is it's just such an amazing enzyme. I take 3 of those a day. I'm sure some of you who have used it and maybe have digestive issues take even more than that. And then LLV, I have a couple months worth here because Chris and I both take those. There's I guess I'll mention this tip too. For those of you that take supplements, I'm trying to like keep an eye on the angles here. I love using a supplement box like this. This one's by doTERRA. Excuse me. But here I basically portion this out I would say every 3 to 4 weeks. This seems to last me about that long. And then that way I'm not having to go to all of the open bottles. Are you guys finding this helpful? It's fun peeking in other people's cupboards, right? Let me, on that note, just show you quickly a few things I do in the Tupperware cabinet here. So this is the style we have, these pull-out drawers. So here you can see the nesting glass storage. I have probably more than we actually need here as I look at it, but that's something you could maybe, because it's all glass, to me it's worth keeping. So if these were all plastic, I'd probably look at getting rid of some of the ones that I'm not using all the time. I also love to use bins to store things that are, like mason jar lids. I really prefer using these that don't have the metal insert, the ring. Anything else I want to mention in here? Yeah, I just wanted to show you the nesting ones, really. Here's those baskets I mentioned. So onions, potatoes, sweet potatoes. Got tea bags in a bin back here that needs to be scrubbed. Use that. I need some water. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to mention, I'm gonna make an all-purpose cleaner with you live, and then we'll end this video. But I did want to mention that one of the things I teach you in the Healthy Kitchen Blueprint is to print your favorite recipes from Plan to Eat. So, and I mean, you don't have to do this because it is all digital on there, but I like to have a binder of all of our favorite recipes, and I've organized it by main course, side course. And then what I do is once I've decided what we're making each week, I will take them out of the binder and I'll pop them onto this recipe holder. So they're all there, so I know what I'm making. And again, it'll create a grocery shopping list for me based on the ingredients. So the last thing I want to do is I want to make some all-purpose cleaner with you guys, because I noticed mine was getting pretty low. This is a spray bottle I purchased off of Amazon. It's by Full Circle brand. I don't know if I have it linked in the kitchen shop, but that's the brand if you want it. And let me just show you quickly. So this is how I store the cleaning products under the sink. So I use these large wire bins. So I have one for cloths and then one for our products, which you can see are basically On Guard products. So this is the cleaning concentrate I'm going to use. That's almost out, that bottle, but I'm going to use that to make our all-purpose cleaner. And then I've got the foaming hand soap here, and that's honestly pretty much all you need to clean your entire home. It's pretty awesome, those 2 products. So let me just tip up here. If you guys have any questions, I'll go through. So to make another all-purpose cleaner, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add, it's about 2 tablespoons of the On Guard cleaning concentrate. I kind of eyeball this. I just do 1, 2, 3 squirts, okay, in here. And then I like to add about 20 drops of essential oils. So I will usually use 10 drops each of peppermint and On Guard. That's a really nice combination. So those are 2 oils I just keep on that little stand there. 10 drops each. One of the reasons I like this glass spray bottle is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we did 10 each, On Guard and peppermint. I like this glass spray bottle because it has like a rubber bottom to it. So when you're working with glass, you want to obviously not be banging it around. And then all you do is you fill it up with water. Let me just grab the sink here. Okay, and that's it. Cleaning with doTERRA might be one of the reasons you start with doTERRA if you aren't using them already, because it just makes it all so simple. And then there we go. And so I probably refill this every 2 weeks or so. And the cool thing is this concentrate that I use, that you saw me do the 3 squirts in here, 2 tablespoons, it costs around, it's somewhere between $12 and $14, but it will make about 12 all-purpose cleaners. So when you think about the cost savings, and just not only that, it's just so important that we reduce our toxic load. Like with all we're dealing with in our world, especially out of this last year, we're being bombarded, right? Everywhere you go, hand sanitizer is being offered to you, masking up in a lot of places. Like we have got to control the environments within our home to greatly reduce our load in that way. What you're using to clean your home is a big opportunity for cleanup for all of us, right? As we learn more, we do better. So it's just finding simple ways to keep upgrading our health in our life. And this is a key area. So I'm happy to help whoever's been working with you in doTERRA. Cleaning with oils is just such a simple way to start. So anyway, we've been going now for 50 minutes. So I just want to scroll up, see if you have any questions. Tap water or distilled. I find for a lot of the things I'm making, tap water is fine. I do have a water distiller here. I'll show you guys. So this right here is distilled water, okay? And I run this, I will actually, many mornings, I will start my day off with distilled water that I add some trace minerals to and a little bit of sea salt. It's pretty shocking. We have a reverse osmosis system, water filter in our house. So we filter all of the water for showers, tubs. So our tap water is drinkable. However, what's really wild is when I run the distiller, even on our reverse osmosis water, there's still from what I can smell, is some chlorine being pulled out of that water. And actually chlorides build up in this distiller. You have to clean it with citric acid every couple of weeks. And that's with reverse osmosis water. So there's still gonna be ways that it works its way in there. Distilled water is good for products that you're going to be having sit a little bit longer. So things like a linen spray will often call for distilled water. If you have distilled water, use distilled water, but I haven't found it to be mandatory. Yeah, distillers you can purchase. That one there I bought off Amazon, and I think it was, I want to say $150. Yeah, it's about that. And I'll grab you the name because I'm sure someone's wondering. This one here is by Vivo Home. Yeah, I think it's really good to have because then you could turn a lot of different water sources into something pretty pure. Butterfingers here, I'm no longer allowed to buy glass cleaning bottles. I've resorted to aluminum. Yeah, I mean, the glass is going to be the best option, right? So the rubber bottoms on these make them a little better if you are always breaking glass. Would you share your supplement routine? Yeah, I mean, it evolves over time, but I have shared it. If you just search Whole Fit supplements, it'll come up. Basically, LLV every day, Terrazyme every day, DDR Prime every day. I take LLV, Terrazyme, and DDR Prime at lunch and dinner every day. And then at night, at night and in the morning, I have a different stack. So at nighttime, I take a Serenity Soft Gel, 2 phytoestrogen, 2 of the Yarrow Palm complex, which are basically like a glow beauty supplement. So it has vitamin C, zinc, frankincense resin, melissa. Can't remember what else is in that one. Obviously Yarrow Palm. What else do I take at night? PB Assist, the probiotic. I take that at night. And then in the morning, I take, first thing, like when I take my big glass of water, I take a Mito 2 Max, which is mitochondrial firing up energy. A Deep Blue, polyphenol, and a Terrazyme. That's what I take in the morning. That's right. Yeah, someone just mentioned Carissa, Terrazyme for life. It is like such a good supplement. All right, I've thrown a lot of info at you guys today, but hopefully there was a little bit of something for all of you. You've always composted, but now we are in London and they don't do that here. Do you mean like picking up compost? Yeah, I've never tried. I didn't even know that. But yeah, we use ours in the garden. It actually takes quite a while, I find, for the rotating bin to, you know, work its way, but it's amazing how much room it saves. Yeah, or compost straight into the garden. That's right. I know people who do that. Okay, I think a lot of the other questions from earlier. Do you guys have any other questions about the kitchen? Any questions about the scrub so far? I hope you're enjoying these streams, and if you've grabbed your workbook, I hope you're loving it so far. It's one of those things where you'll probably purchase and then need to look at the calendar and plan out when you're doing everything. But again, the idea is that you try to work through it. Maybe it takes you a month to do all of the different chapters, but then once you're done, if you do it every season, it's gonna be a lot quicker. You wanna see the rotating bin? Okay, we'll go outside. We'll go outside as we wrap this up. Do I use minerals, quartz, stones in your everyday routine? No, I do not. Woo, it's bright. Hold on. Do you have any posts on digesting oils internally? I don't think I've written any posts on it. I have a safety kit. If you search Whole Fit Oil Safety, I talk about that in there. You obviously want to make sure you're using a brand like doTERRA. Well over 90% of the essential oils you'll buy at the store, craft store, wherever they're sold, have been adulterated, and they're not going to be pure oil. You'll be internalizing fragrance. No bueno, right? So doTERRA, you can trust the quality because, again, you can look at even the third-party labs. You know exactly what's in that oil. You know when it was tested, what constituents were in that plant. You're probably not going to be thinking of all those things. You want to just be able to trust that what you're taking is actually plant and not fragrance. So the upper limit for ingesting oils, pure oils, is 24 drops per day. So if you're adding, 1 to 2 drops of citrus oil to your drinking water throughout the day, even things like the Lifelong Vitality supplements, I believe, have 2 drops of oil. Most people are getting way below that limit of 24, unless you're doing something targeted, like maybe you're targeting something internal that's going on right now and you're taking some oils in a veggie capsule. You probably only be doing that for a couple of days anyway, right? The girls take supplements. Yep, they take the A to Z. They take the PB Assist Junior, both doTERRA, and then they take Bone Marrow by Ancient. Can't remember the brand. My goodness, I'm having a brain lapse. Anyway, here's our rotating composter. I think you can see that there. And how it works. So we come out here and we dump the kitchen composter. Hold on, let me try to spin the Price is Right wheel. There we go. So you basically, you can see here there's an add section. I think you can see that. If I open this up here, you'll see what we have there. So ours is pretty full right now. This other side is curing, okay? And then once it's done, you just basically empty it out from the bottom and you can use it in your garden. That side I just showed you that's done is ready just to be layered into the soil. Yes, ancestral supplements. Let me just have a quick look because we've got, Chris takes a lot of their other stuff. They do basically nose to tail. Yeah. Ancestral Supplements. Great company. Great founder. All right, guys. I think that brings us to the end of our kitchen scrub. This one was a lot longer today. Usually we go about 20 minutes, but I hope you found this useful, helpful, interesting.